All right. We have ourselves a grand finals here. A best of 5. Spawning in the lower left-hand corner of Crimson Court is our Terran player for the Shopify Rebellion in the blue, ByuN. And his opponent in the upper right, in the red for Twisted Minds, the Protoss Classic. All right, TVP to close us out. Should be a good one, ByuN. Fresh off another TVP, as he was the one to take down Ordinary in this bracket. Ordinary, formerly known as Chance, made a really sick run through both Trap and Shin to get to the semifinals, but ByuN said, no, sir. You will not beat a Protoss, a Zerg, and a Terran that are higher ranked than he is today. But still a really good run there for Chance. Happy to see him playing so well to beat those two very good players. And Classic took down Dark in his semis. Really sick match there, and also good to see Classic playing so well. I'm excited for this finals. I hope you guys are enjoying the KSL. If you'd like to support the KSL, consider checking out our Patreon, or if that's too rich for you, check out the Match Arena. We have a Match Arena for each of these weeklies, and you can add 25 cents in to just help us cover the cost, pay out the players, things of that nature. The Patreon is where the real supporters are at. We love you. We love you, patrons. We literally could not do this without you. If I had to pay $400 a week, or a tournament, I would be destitute by now. But also, while you're here, consider following the Twitch channel, subscribing to the YouTube channel. I do appreciate seeing those numbers go up as I put work and effort into these channels. It looks like we've just got a pretty standy-andy opening here. ByuN, Cyclone, and Marines on his side of the map. Classic just getting into a Stargate, so a couple of Adepts gonna push away the initial Reaper, but try to hit with the Oracle on the other side of the map. ByuN probably gonna have to stay home with some of these units to defend that. Although as I say that Cyclone's moving out on the map. We did see ByuN earlier on against whoever ByuN played earlier on. That was a Protoss. It was Nightmare. It was Nightmare. I could not remember, but thankfully I left the bracket open. So, oh, it's actually going to be Phoenix's first here out of Classic. That's kind of nice. What I was just going to say is against Nightmare, ByuN seemed to really liked. He really liked the early game harass, and he's so good at that. He's being very annoying early on, and I think Phoenixes are a great opener to defend against that kind of stuff. ByuN, though, posturing in the middle of the map, trying to catch a Phoenix. He is not going to. I do think Classic might have spotted some of these units out here. But the double lock on here with a couple of Marines as well. And that's a dead Phoenix, and early on, this Phoenix count is so low that one Phoenix is a huge amount of potential damage, potential lifting, and these Phoenixes are going back out on the map. Even though this attack is coming in here for ByuN, Classic, I don't know why he sent those Phoenix all the way out across the map. He saw this in the middle of the map. Shield Battery is helping him out quite a bit. The Phoenixes are going to return. Super Shield Battery turns on, the pylon falls, but that wasn't the one powering this Shield Battery. Doesn't really matter too much. With the Phoenixes back here, another Phoenix out. ByuN is going to back up at least a little bit. There are 3 Cyclones here. Viking coming across the map as well. And ByuN's going to put this pressure back on. The Shield Battery is pretty much out of juice. There's no more ground units here. And Immortal is about to pop, but it's just not quite out yet. And it looks like Classic was waiting for that to push down this ramp. He is going to try to push this away. Good pickup there from ByuN. Few probes do go down. And it looks like Classic will defend. ByuN actually moving back all the way through the center of the map this time. But this still, I think, went really, really nicely for ByuN. Kills a pylon and a shield battery, a few probes. He got a Phoenix in the middle of the map, and he really didn't lose much. Just a few Marines. Altogether really nice. He's got a base on the way as well. And oh my god, the Cyclones and Viking catching this. That is 5 Cyclones there. 3 Phoenixes will still make their way into the main base. They're going to be able to be kind of annoying up here. ByuN says, screw it, I'm going across the map. And these Phoenixes are about to spend all of their energy harassing. So yeah, they're going to get 6, 7 workers. Delay the factory a little bit, but the third base finishes up before Classics is done. And ByuN's putting pressure back on across the map. Now, there are 2 Immortals here, but Interference Matrix is about to finish. I think that's going to be 1 Immortal in a second. Maybe not. Maybe that's enough to deflect for now. ByuN's going to go for a drop in the main base. The Phoenixes are here. But against Marines, 2 Phoenixes is not going to be particularly good. Probe's going to get gunned down. Medevac going to pick up and boost away as the army comes in. But now, ByuN's going to come back in. He's going to grab one of the observers. I don't know. It seems like a really nice defense here from Classic. I thought ByuN pushing across the map might just be able to take him out, but it ended up working out really nicely for Classic. He was able to get those worker kills and get home and defend. Because he took the third base back here behind the minerals, ByuN had nothing to pressure. You know, if that third base is out here, or God forbid out here, ByuN probably cracks through. But because Classic took the safe one, there wasn't really anything ByuN could do at that moment. And now as we settle back in, ByuN goes back home. The Phoenix is probably going to be back out on the map here shortly. There they are. Classic, well, at least was a couple workers ahead as they get towards 3-base saturation. But ByuN, he's on triple factory right now. The Phoenixes, though, they're going to come in. There's no defense here, not even a turret. The Cyclone's coming back up to try to push this away, but it's just 7 free kills. And this barracks is just going to die. All right, he's going to pull it back to save it. He wants that barracks alive. I want that barracks alive. Siege tanks coming out now. We don't see a lot of mech play against Protoss. Oh, and Classic might be about to show us why. Chargelot's coming in. He's going to get on top of that siege tank. 2 Immortals here chewing through these supply depots right now, though. And there's the double interference matrix. So 2 Immortals is actually 0 Immortals, which means the Cyclones are going to do a great job here against this. There's a couple of siege tanks as well, but the Immortals are back online. Is there enough for ByuN to push this away? Oh, he shuts down the Warp Prism. No more Warp Ends available, and he can't pick up into it during this either. Zealots are doing such a good job. Cyclone's trying to take down the Prism. They will get the Prism. And that means all the rest of this will die as well, so ByuN holds on. That being said, that was 21 dead SCVs and almost a complete reset on ByuN's army. And that's a much bigger deal for ByuN than it is for Classic. Classic can just warp in a round of, let's take a look, a round of 8 Zealots at a time. His supply should be able to jump way ahead of ByuN's at the rate he's producing. ByuN, he's going to land the Vikings now. He did kill all the Phoenixes, so he doesn't have to worry about those anymore, which is really nice. He is worried about, I think, just a follow-up charge lot attack in right now. These tanks are honestly god-awful against charge lots. They need friends to help them out. And so ByuN getting those Cyclones out is really, really important. That being said, once the tank count gets high enough, or if they have enough friends nearby, or a little of both, charge lots don't cut it anymore. So Classic needs to get into follow-up tech. Immortals are still going to be quite strong here. Archons, they're kind of okay. I don't really know what the ideal tech is for Classic here in this situation. A lot of times the way to defeat a mech player isn't to just go pound for pound with them in army. It's to try to get a much more easily resettable army like charge lots, gateway, heavy production, And then just keep this mech army as low as possible. Stop your opponent from taking bases, which is exactly what Classic is coming up here to do. He sees his base being taken, and he's just going to force an immediate cancel. He's got a proxy back here, so he knows ByuN isn't trying to take this base. And in the meantime, Classic is up to 4 bases. He is chilling back on his side of the map. It looks like ByuN has spotted this. So he's going to be able to take this pylon down.
Complete.
Got some Liberators coming out now as well. Now, if ByuN gets to maxed, his army is going to be very, very strong. But Classic still has a lot of moves he can do. Counterattacks are going to be very powerful. If the tanks are all unsieged, they're extremely vulnerable to Classic's army. And Classic is just going to keep this pressure on. He wants to keep ByuN back. He wants to keep him on as low a mining as possible. ByuN, though, looks like he is going to get this 4th command center up. Oh, actually, 170 supply here. He's just moving out right now. Siege up a few tanks. Classic trying to attack in. Ooh, eats a lot of big tank shots, though. Oh, is the lock-on going to finish this Archon off? It is. Well, Liberator siege a little bit forwards, but they're not going to die for it. And ByuN's army is looking quite scary here. Now, here's the counterattack stuff I was talking about. Zealots in the main base. Liberator trying to help clean them up. Doing a good job so far. ByuN needs to be really careful here, though. He's just unsieged, sitting out really close to where Classic's at. He's going to scan forward so he can siege up in time. It looks like a couple of tanks will fall here at the front. Cyclone's going down. There's actually no support for these tanks anymore. Remember what I said with the Zealots? Just a few Zealots here, and every single tank goes down. And just when it looked like ByuN's army was unstoppable, he just loses all those Cyclones out front, unsieged a little bit too long. And ByuN loses absolutely everything, and there it is, GG. You lose all those tanks. The mech army cannot continue going. And that move out, I don't know that I love that move out from ByuN. I don't think he clocked where Classic was expanding. Because I think if he mines out the gold minerals next to his 3rd and scoots out that way with his army, I feel like Classic has a much more difficult time taking a fight there. And it puts him in a tough position. Like Classic, he didn't need to take a fight in the middle of the map. He could wait until there was an opportunity and then try to take fights, try to slow ByuN down, chip away at specifically those Cyclones that were supporting the tanks. And then when he was ready, take a fight. Because ByuN was pushing towards nothing. There was no 3rd there. There was no 4th there. He had all the way to his natural to kite that army. Classic did. I think maybe if ByuN had seen where the 4th base of Classic was and moved that direction, maybe there's a better chance there that he puts Classic in a tough position where he has to take a fight. Maybe he doesn't take the best one. I don't know though, man. Mech versus Protoss is it's a tough thing to do. ByuN trying to make it work, but there's really only been a few players that have successfully made Mech versus Protoss work in the last few years. It's not a very common thing to see. And we kind of saw just why.
Oh man, Chickenman. Wow.
Oh my god. Flare the bird. Whack, 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 indeed. Flare, thank you so much for the 51-month resub. I don't know why you still sub to this channel, but I appreciate it. I really do. And I hope you are well, my friend, Mr. Flare. As we hop into game number 2 here. Spawning in the upper left-hand corner of Oceanborn, it is ByuN. Not quite making it happen in that last game. His opponent in the lower right-hand corner took down those siege tanks. It is Classic. We saw Nightmare do this earlier, and Classic also scouting around for some proxies. Just doesn't quite see it, though. Doesn't quite see it. It's okay, I'll stop subbing now. Don't want my credit card info on Twitch anymore. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. They removed 2FA because you asked them to. I mean, I guess that's nice of them. I think, didn't they not have two-factor authentication for a while? I feel like that was the case. Ooh, ByuN going for a cheeky here. He's got the tech lab. And because he's got the barracks back at home, Classic might not really be expecting this. I don't know. He's got another probe going out, though. Classic, maybe he is concerned. Or maybe he's trying to proxy his own thing. Oh my god, but ByuN's gonna scout it. Why is ByuN's Marines out here? Oh, they're just out in the middle of nowhere. They were trying to go join up with the other barracks, and they inadvertently spotted Classic's proxy. Now Classic didn't have any tech or anything. So I think he was just trying to put some pressure on. The Marines found him out. He still hasn't spotted this this barracks, though. And there's 2 Marauders now. Concussive Shell is done. These Marauders are going to dive in. New proxy pylon goes down. Stalker headed to the other side of the map. This is bad timing for that Stalker to be on the other side of the map, as the Marauders are here. Oh, and the bunker's starting to go down. The Stalker needs to get home. This Stalker might need a recall. I think Classic's in some trouble, man. This is a problem. He has very little production right now. These 2 gateways are finishing up. They're almost online. This Nexus is already at like a 3rd shields. Look at it go down. The bunker is done. Puts the Marauders in the bunker. And that's a dead Nexus. That looks like Stalker and Probe in the middle of the map. Gonna be able to get the kill on that. Probe's coming down to try to defend this. ByuN says, I'm not gonna focus fire the Nexus. I'm gonna just go for the damage. Which means he's not gonna kill this Nexus. I actually think he gets that if he just targets it down. Oh, and the probes finishing off those Marauders. 5 probes go down. That's not as big of a deal as the Nexus. Hey, killing that Nexus would be real good. Stim is almost done here. ByuN brings some Marauders back up to the high ground. The proxy pylon is done as well. Classic trying to poke up. There is a bunker. There is a base here as well. Could ByuN stim in and kill this Nexus? There's 3 Marauders. How many Marauders does it take to kill a Nexus that is currently at about 500 hit points or so? Oh, the Stalkers are nearby. They were not for a second. Stim is done. He's going to go for it. He's going for it. Oh, this is so sick. Oh, the force field. Oh, it doesn't matter. He gets it anyways. ByuN. And I genuinely didn't think he was going to do it. But it turns out 3 Stim Marauders kills buildings very fast. And that ends up being very worth it for ByuN, who now has a base. Got a bunker going down on the low ground. I like that he has not salvaged this one, because the thing I would expect Classic to do right now is counterattack. He's forcing this base to lift, which means this is going to be the last Marauder for a while. It's just Marines coming out. Salvages that bunker as this one is finishing up. The pylon goes down, the proxied pylon. The Classic is very supply blocked right now. 41 out of 39. There's a bunker here, and the siege tank is about to finish. And I think with that, ByuN should hold. He's got Stim. He can pull the boys to help buffer. There's the big Stim from ByuN. He's going to empty the bunker as well. And these Stalkers don't have Blink. And that is going to be GG. ByuN's proxy ends up doing it in game number 2 to tie us up. He goes just hardcore mech in game 1. Proxy Marauder game 2. You'll love to see it. You'll love to see it. ByuN showing the full range of strategies, and Classic, unfortunately, not only not scouting that proxy, but also because he was going for aggression of his own, he didn't build like a safety shield battery. I think if he's just macroing, probably builds a shield battery on that low ground once he sees just like Marine first, because chance of it being a proxy is high enough, and even just any sort of regular annoying one base pressure, I think it's worth having that shield battery out front. But because Classic was attacking, no safety shield battery, no safety back at home at all, I think he might have been planning to proxy a gateway. Who's to say? Any case, works out well for ByuN, and now we'll head into Alcyone for game number 3 of this 5-game series. I'm glad the cat is on camera again. It's been a while since he's been on camera. He likes to go sleep in the kitchen instead of anywhere near this camera that I set up specifically for him. But here we are, game number 3. Spawning in the lower left-hand corner, it is ByuN for the Shopify Rebellion. His spawn in the upper right, with Twisted Minds, it's Classic. Yes, ByuN took the last game in Fester X. Also, I really like that name. I'm pretty sure I've said that before. That name is familiar. I didn't notice it when I read it, but when I said it out loud in Fester X, I realized how much like Professor X it sounds, and that's good. That's good naming right there. Oh, you're also a streamer? Are you also bald? I hope you are. I hope you're bald. That would make me very happy. If you're not, honestly, not gonna follow. Only following if bald. All right, no proxy this time, ByuN. Just opening up Reaper Expand. I feel like ByuN, this is going to be the 5th TVP today, and so far he's opened up different in every single one. Actually, is this? Yeah, it's the 5th TVP today that I've seen him in. I didn't see how he played against Ordinary. But yeah, so far he's opened different in every single game, which is, it's very impressive to have so many different openings against one race. And I mean, there's something to be said for like having a standard build and playing the openings every game, or having the variation in your build come later on. We've seen a lot of players who, you know, they'll have the same like Reaper Expand, but then you just don't know what's behind it because they have so many variations after that point. But ByuN, like, God, you just do not know where he's headed at the start of the game. And that's what makes him really tough to play against. It's the same thing as a player like Dark or Hero, where the 3-minute mark of every single game might just look completely different. And this isn't anything crazy. He's just got a 3cc. Actually, I said he's played every opening differently so far. This is the same as a build he did against Nightmare. That one was on post-youth. But it's really interesting to see him mix it up from kind of harass opener into mech, and then full proxy, and this game full greed. It makes it tough for a player like Classic to know what he's up against, and whenever you change your build against somebody like this, you're taking that chance that your builds might line up really poorly for you, which is kind of a big part of what happened last game. Again, it's just Classic was going to be aggressive against somebody who was being more aggressive faster to him. And that's a tough position to be in. Hallucinated Phoenix going to come in and scout. Gets the full scout. Sees everything he needs to see. So Classic fully knows what he's up against now. We'll see what his response is. He's already got the Twilight Council finishing up here. So I'd imagine he's just going to be, I was going to say heading towards Blink, but he immediately drops the Robo Bay. And I actually do like this. Spending that money on the Robo Bay before getting any upgrades here. Prioritizing the Colossus production. I think if you have a Colossus out by the time ByuN hits, you're kind of good. Blink a little bit sooner isn't going to help you as much as that Colossus a little sooner is, for sure. So I think that was a good read, good adjustment here for Classic on his build, which I'm guessing he would have gotten Blink first had he not scouted the 3 racks, 3cc build. And of course, 2 more racks going to go down here. ByuN is going to have a very powerful push. Stim, combat shields, 2 medevacs, a lot of bio. And with the 3rd base behind this, this is not a super committed attack. He doesn't have to get damage done. So that puts Classic in a bit of a tight spot. But he is chrono boosting this first Colossus out. And again, that with the shield battery out front here, I think he should be pretty good. That being said, ByuN again, he did this build against Nightmare, and he just straight up killed him with it. Nightmare's Colossus was a little bit later, I think. But he was just kind of a little disjointed, a little out of position. And ByuN was able to find a hole to get in. Took down the Colossus, and I pretty much just won the game against Nightmare that way. But this is a very marine-heavy force. Oh my god, he's just going to stim into the natural. He's an insane man. He shuts down the Robo, kills the pylon. These probes are in some trouble. 8, 9 probes going down. This Colossus will clean this force up very quickly. ByuN just going to target down a sentry. I don't think he's going to get that second one. But he gets 10 probes. Delays the Warp Prism here. A lot of lost mining time. Gets a sentry. I think overall that's worth it for ByuN. We see the trades are pretty similar. But killing workers here is always going to be good because they're on even bases. And Classic isn't immediately counterattacking. Now that Prism is out. Thermal Lance is about to finish. Classic could conceivably start pushing across the map, but ooh, oh, he predicted ByuN coming in with the drop, and he's going to be able to pick off the medevac, losing a lot of stalkers for it though. That blink ended up being a bit of an overcommitment. He's going to be able to boost out. Oh my god, is he trying to pick all this up? ByuN, that was insane. How did he recognized he had room for the Marauder? He dropped out another Marauder, picked up the first one, dropped out a Marine, picked up the second Marauder. He's insane. The moves, baby, the moves. He's got them. And in the meantime, ByuN has taken quite a supply lead here in both army and workers. And going to be very good for him. His 4th base is nearly done. Classics it's on the way, but as I say that, the double drop comes in. Going to take down both the pylons, and there's just no units nearby, so that is a dead attempted 4th base. And in the meantime, Classic going to try to dive in here, but there is a bunker and a tank. He targets the siege tank down, and that's going to allow him to move into position here on these units and force that 3rd base to lift up. Some SCVs coming off the line as well. Oh my god, the Vikings going to take down the Warp Prism before it warps in, and now they're going to work on this Colossus. It will go down. The Zealots starting to shoot through the Marauders, though. Can the Vikings do this? It looks like they can, because Classic is forced to tap out, and ByuN takes game number 3. That attack initially looked quite good for Classic, but I think there was just too much going on, too much damage going on the other side of the map for him, and he wasn't going to really win that fight. He was just going to trade out and be in a worse position. It would have been 4 base against 3. Classic decides to tap out. GG, ByuN. ByuN looking really strong here. So far, Classic won a single game because ByuN decided to go mech. And I feel like Classic's maybe the wrong person to do that against. Classic is he's a very solid player. I think mech can be really good. I don't know. Mech seems like it's really good against somebody who maybe plays a little bit more like crazy, like an SOS type of player. I think would maybe struggle against Mech in a way that somebody like Classic wouldn't. Honestly, even somebody like Stats, I think, would struggle a bit more. Stats is such a defensive player, and I think against Mech, you do have to be more aggressive. Classic handled it pretty much perfectly in that game 1. But we'll see if he can take on ByuN's Bio. We're going to Amphion for game number 4. This is now match point for our Terran player. Oh my god. What? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I hit a button by accident. You know what it was when I was putting the scores in? I think I hit the 1 and it went to ByuN's camera, or maybe I hit the 2. I don't know. Anyways, game number 4, match point here for our Terran in the upper left-hand corner. It is ByuN, who's up 2-1 against his opponent in the lower left. It is Classic. Oh, what? I was taking a drink of water. I almost spit it out. He killed the probe. Damn, Classic got greedy. Tried to get that SCV. The boys, they stick together. The other boys, they were there. They were in the rear with the gear. They buttered his biscuit. Didn't have any Marines. What, you run out of Marines? I love that CV voice lines. They're so good. Butter my biscuit. In the rear with the gear. Honestly, all the Stormgate lately has made me really appreciate just how good the sound is in StarCraft 2. It's things you take for granted until you start focusing on them. And it's like, damn, we've had it good this whole time. Speaking of Stormgate, my Stormgate partner in crime, the other half of the Goblin Cluckfest, Apoptosis 808. Thank you for the 38 months of support, of love and support. Appreciate you, buddy. Hope you're having a great night, a great evening. ByuN's being a cheeky boy over here. He's going quick 3cc again. Same build as last game. He's being a bit of a cheeky boy. He might be a bit cheeky. Some call him Cheeky Boy ByuN. It's one of his nicknames. You might not have known that, but one of his nicknames is Cheeky Boy ByuN. It's because he's a cheeky boy. Now we do have Phoenixes coming out for Classic, so there is a higher than normal chance he scouts this. Phoenixes tend to see a lot of the map in their day-to-day movements, but Amphion, there's really no reason to be on this quadrant of the map with Phoenixes or any other units. The ground units have to go around this way. That's about as close as you'd expect to get. Phoenixes just don't need to go there. They might. Sometimes you do send the Phoenixes around weird angles. You just click them around to run places while you go macro, but I don't know. Whoa, the Adept's going to sneak in. The Phoenix is trying to go in the main, but there's a turret in the main and the Marines in the natural. And cheeky boy ByuN holds on against the harassment of Classic. Her classicment. I was trying to combine the word harassment and classic, and it did not work. Clarasicment? Clarasicment. That sounds like we're going back in time to the Jurassic period, but also you're having a mint. These Marines are doing a great job right now. 3 Phoenixes. They do not want to engage into this. These Stalkers are both super low. Marine count is starting to get a little low too, though, so I think ByuN probably wants to get out of there. And in the meantime, he's just mining away over here. He is just getting free mining at this hidden base. Classic does not have a third base, and he does not know about this. He saw the Raxes in the main, and I think he was like, oh, you're just going to attack me. I need to prepare for an attack. And that's just not what's happening. ByuN has a third CC that Classic has no idea about. He's got to be getting confused about this right now. Phoenixes should be able to pick off a couple more SCVs here. But this harassment means nothing to ByuN. I mean, I guess delaying the starport is annoying. The Marines will come up and push this away. Classic's third is about halfway done. At some point, he's got to be suspicious, right? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, look. Look at him click over here. Look at the Phoenixes. He just was like, nah, this can't be right. This can't be right. He's extra thinking about it. Oh, yeah, he's just got everything coming over here. He realized, he was like, you must have this. And there's no defenses here. There's not a turret. There's not a Marine. SCVs are going to run away. These mules are not going to do too much. Oh, the force fields. And all that mining for ByuN. So powerful. But he's going to lose a lot here. And his mining is going to go way down in the dumps. However, I mean, has it been enough? Observer's going to spot this. Classic's going to pull back. He's got a Colossus on top of the ramp. He just went for the recall. I think Classic's in a great spot defensively. His base is secure in the middle here. Oh my god, ByuN's just going to retake this? That's illegal. That's illegal. You can't do that. ByuN, this is too cheeky, ByuN. He's going to build the turret now. I love him. I love him so much. Classic is going to go back into the main base and harass a little bit more. Medevac's forced to stay at home by the turrets. ByuN, though, he's going to break through here, and he's realized where the base is. Oh, the Phoenix is catching up. Beautiful defense from Classic as he's trying to take the 4th base back here. But ByuN's not going to be able to get in. That double drop could have been huge. If he had gotten right in here with that double drop, danger territory for Classic. But now these Phoenixes able to roam free. They can pick off a lot of stuff. 4. They can go try to defend this 4th base. The double drop comes in, but the ground army is there. The Phoenixes just here for the alley-oop to try to pick off these medevacs, which they will do. At the expense of a couple of Phoenixes, though. I don't know if that was necessarily worth it. Same time, ByuN trying to poke the front. Classic does have some units there. Super Shield Battery turns on. Classic's defending everywhere right now. The worker count is even. Classic's base is still coming up. No 4th base here for ByuN. He seems pretty committed on 3. He's got his Ghost Academy coming up. Trying to push up this ramp again, but Colossus stays alive. The Warp Prism there to help with the micro. ByuN's really, he's going to hold on to this base, man. He's got supply depots going down. If Classic kills that base, ByuN's going to be supply blocked for 100 years. Classic SimCity looks like I hate this. I think it's probably like maybe it's good to defend against drops, but I don't know. I hate it. I hate how it looks. I hate how it feels. This feels inefficient. I don't like it. And ByuN's base is in trouble. 2 zealots came in. Turns out that's enough. And 14 SCVs go down. And ByuN taking a chance with that base, and it does not work. That base was like ABBA over here. Take a chance on me. Take a chance, take a chance, take a chance, chance, take a chance, take a chance, take a chance, chance. Take a chance on me. ByuN shouldn't have taken a chance. Shouldn't have done it. Shouldn't have done it. And that means we go to game 5. Going to be on Site Delta. I'm going to grab some more water for this 5th and final game of the evening. All right. And we go into Site Delta. See who can close it out here. It's been kind of a wild one. I hope it continues. I hope game 5 is the most wild one yet. Spawning in the lower right-hand corner of Site Delta, we have the Shopify Rebellion's ByuN. And his opponent in the upper left for Twisted Minds, it's Classic. Keep an eye out for any cheeky proxies. So far, not looking like anything. We haven't seen anything really crazy out of Classic yet, which feels a little surprising. I think it might be because he's playing ByuN. ByuN's a hard person to do that kind of stuff against, but Classic has... We've seen plenty of games with him doing some crazy stuff and really giving it to his opponent, trying to trick him, trying to cheese him out. Classic is not averse to cheese. He's not cheese averse. He's not lactose intolerant, you might say. I, however, am. I am. Lactaid is a friend of mine. Reminds me, I need to buy more Lactaid. I also need more paper towels. There are things to keep in mind. I'm going to write these things down. Chat, help me remember that I need Lactaid and paper towels. Both very important things. Alright, doesn't look like anything crazy this game. ByuN opening double Marine here, so Reaper into double Marine, not going for the reactor. And it looks like it is going to be another quick 3cc. Okay, so we found ByuN's comfort build, where he's comfortable against Classic. It seems to be this 3cc play. This one is not going to be at a hidden base. I really liked that move last game. But I just think Classic was so good at defending with the Phoenixes, was able to get the Colossi out. And once that happens, ByuN didn't have the power to defend that extended third base. So glad to see it be a bit more standard in game number 5. Well, let's see what Classic decides to do against this. So far, we just got Blink on the way, so we're playing against this one a little bit differently than the last game. This Blink's a lot earlier than in, what was it, the game on Alcyone as well, which was also 3cc out of ByuN. And I think ByuN was able to make some stuff happen there, but that was a Robo first into a Robo Bay and a Twilight Council. So a bit of a different tech path here for Classic. We'll see if his Blink Stalkers are able to maybe poke and prod a little bit. Sometimes those can be really, really good at just picking off Marines that extend out a little too far, maybe delaying ByuN's third base a little bit. That game on Alcyone was also very close. Even at the very end, it felt very close. Like, I was a little surprised how early Classic tapped out, but I mean, I think he was correct. I think it was the right call. It was just, yeah, it was still close. Still felt like a close game. We'll see if Classic has some ideas on how to turn that back around in his favor. Of course, ByuN is still going to hit a very powerful timing here. And we do have that Colossus on the way for Classic. As mentioned in the previous games, Colossi are crucial at defending this kind of big bio push that ByuN's going to be going for. You really need them. Classic right now just kind of holding the front here. Observer is nearby, but wants to make sure. Well, actually, it looks like he's going to blink into the main base. Maybe try to get a couple of workers. Oh. ByuN is so good. He saw that Observer and he stimmed to get it, but Classic also being very good on the defense here. We've seen ByuN kill so many Observers. He's so good at spotting them, moving around, and scanning them. But yeah, Classic being very careful with that one. Forces a little stim there. He's able to pick off the one SCV, but keeps his Observer alive to spy another day. Let's probe out here, and the hallucinated Phoenix looking for the potential drop. They will find the drop, and the 4 Stalkers in the main base will be enough to thwart this. Even just being scouted is enough to thwart this. ByuN decides to drop out here and look for damage elsewhere. He's going to be able to take his third base, though. We will continue on. The one Marine going out to scout and just running into a Colossus. That's what War of the World must have felt like. You're just one dude. You're just one dude against the Colossus. What are you supposed to do? God, actually, that would be one of the coolest things about like a first-person StarCraft experience. I know the Space Marine game just came out. I haven't really played it at all, but imagine the scale of being a single Marine against a Protoss army, and even like the Stalkers are like 15 feet tall. Like, they're huge. The scale of this army is insane, but then a Colossus just walks in, and you're like, well, well, listen, dude, I got bullets. What am I supposed to do against that thing? Ah, that would be cool to see. It's a shame that Blizzard does not care about StarCraft. You could do some really cool stuff. Actually, like a Gears of War style thing, where there's just sometimes like huge stuff you really can't contend with. Could be really cool. Turns out StarCraft's pretty cool. A Classic. This is a nice move by Classic. He's going to get in here with some Zealots. SCV's forced to fight. More SCVs dropping off in the main base. Classic getting some good damage done here. Looks like a lot of the Zealots will go down, but that's going to be 12 workers falling. In the meantime, the main army was posturing around, but ByuN able to push that away. So this was really, really dangerous for him. Losing 12 workers is painful. That was a lot of Zealots that went down as well, though. I believe the Warp Prism got saved. Yeah, it got recalled. I think it went back to this base. So it's going to be back here very quickly. It has speed also. But 2 Vikings and a turret. Really nice timing for these Vikings. The 2 Zealots will drop out, but that's about it for now. The main army can stay out front. Oh my god, but ByuN, oh, he doesn't quite get back there, and that disruptor hit is real nice. 6 units going down there. Just a good connection to start things off for Classic, who maintains a supply lead right now, as it is 4 bases to 3. Ghost Academy is done. It's chilling right out front here, so we could have some ghosts on the way for ByuN. Going to be very helpful against any sort of Protoss army. This army from Classic, it doesn't feel huge, though. ByuN can absolutely take a good fight against this. He's got a few siege tanks here. If he splits against the Disruptor Novas, Classic's army, 2 Colossi is not like a ton. That's not a ton of consistent splash damage. And Disruptors are not guaranteed splash damage. That's the scary thing about them. You might get a huge hit. You might get no hit. The best thing about them is that they force your opponent to split and not be attacking for a little while. But this is really nice for Classic, because this is like half of ByuN's army out here, maybe even a third. He's going to be able to take a great fight against this. ByuN just trying to pick off some Stalkers to maybe try to get away. But it looks like Boost was on cooldown, so he wasn't able to boost one of those away. It dies full of units. The other one goes to the corner, but that's not scary for Classic. That was just a good fight, and Classic finds himself 25 supply ahead as he's trying to take the 5th base to the lower left corner, just going for the line expansions here. I also like how the mini-map, it just gets smaller and smaller. The amount of stuff at each base feels very appropriate. I don't know. I like how it looks on the map. ByuN trying to take the 4th base. He does have some tanks here. Disruptor Novas come out. They get a couple of SCVs. Classic needs to be kind of careful, though. Fighting into the siege tanks is a quick way to lose a lot of stuff. But Classic's got a 6th base on the way. He is just trying to get more and more ahead. Keep that economic advantage going. Disruptor Novas go out. Really getting the connections here. There's more bio over on this side. A big concave potentially for ByuN if Classic's not careful. Classic getting a little bit bold here. He's got a lot of disruptors. Oh, and some big disruptor connections. Talked about the potential of those units. They can get a lot done. And they did there for Classic. ByuN not able to get the splits, not able to target them down in time. He went for 1 or 2 targets, and it just didn't quite work out for him. He did get a couple of disruptor kills, but Classic maintains the supply lead right now. He's going to dive back in, but the Vikings take down the Colossi. And the Disruptors are not enough on their own with these gateway units. I think you do need Colossi here for this, or at least more Disruptors. He's down to 4. He's going to warp in a bunch more Zealots. He does have more Disruptors on the way. And he's just going to keep that pressure on. The supplies are very close, though, and these tanks are holding strong up on the high ground. There's a bunker here as well, buying some time. These Zealots kind of just derping around up on the high ground. And oh no, dude, I don't think this fight is going well for Classic at all. It might not matter because he's got so many more Zealots coming in. 3 more Disruptors show up at the clutch. And Classics is going to get on top into this natural. Oh my god, those Disruptor Novas are huge. And I think that's going to close it out. I don't think ByuN's got enough left. The Vikings trying to fight it out. But Classic, even though that fight was kind of messy, he just had so much and so many reinforcements coming in. It ended up not really mattering. He's going to kill 23 SCVs. The army supplies are very similar, but Classic, he's got a 7th base almost done. Triple Colossus starts up as he just killed all the Vikings except for 2. And ByuN, he's just not going to have the ability to remake an army like Classic has. He's got good mining, but Classic he's got better mining. He's got better production. He's got 8 disruptors out. And it looks like it was canceled the Colossi and just went for 3 Immortals. I actually think the Colossi would have been better there, but the Immortals are quite good as well. You can't go wrong with them. He's going to jump on one of the siege tanks. Disruptor Novas are going to send this bio back, and there's just not enough here for ByuN to fight into this many disruptors. The disruptors can send out like infinity Novas while the Stalkers and Zealots pick apart this side of the base. And ByuN holds on, but to what end? The triple Colossi starts back up now for Classic as those Immortals come across the map. And Classic is maxed. He is fully maxed right now. ByuN is under 150 supply, desperately holding on for his life here. Gonna try to take a 5th base. He's gonna go for it. Classic, I think, is just gonna keep attacking in. He's not waiting for those Colossi, though. Might be a mistake. 4 Novas go out at once. You can't really split against that super effectively. ByuN continues to hold on. Let's take a look at the resources lost. They're pretty much even. They're actually in Classic's favor. And that is not what you want to see when you're the player down every base, actually, as Classic is taking pretty much his entire side. He's taking more bases than his half of the map has because he has both corners. I guess he could still take this one. Oh, he's going to take this one. He's just going around the outside, around the outside, around the outside. Turns out Classic is 2 trailer park girls. Like in a trench coat. Never would have guessed it. ByuN has good positioning on the tanks. He's got a few Liberators out, which is something that Classic doesn't have like a great answer for. Of course, Blink Stalkers can be good against that. 3 Colossi. Going to be able to output a lot of damage on this bio here. ByuN so far able to defend this 5th base. I mean, maybe he can hold on here. He's back up to 175 supply. Classic is really one good fight away from closing this game. ByuN, he needs to not let that happen. It's easier said than done. This is a planetary and there's a siege tank here. The tough position for Classic to break. He's going to dive in for it anyways, though. Disruptor Nova's coming out. There's a lot more bio behind that. And a little bit of a flanking bio as well, just to try to help out in this fight and confuse the AI of those Colossi. ByuN holds on once again, keeps this base alive. But Classic, he's got so many bases. He's on 96 probes. And he's going to dive in on top of this. The Stalkers will take out that Liberator. And it looks like ByuN's going to hold on to this base. Yeah, I was going to say, but will he lose this one? But no. Classic not able to chew through it. ByuN is fighting what feels like a losing battle. What I would love to see from Classic are DTs. I think DTs might be able to cinch this one out. But he might not even need them. He's going to dive back in here. The bio struggling to run away. Tank's a little bit out of position. The planetary holds, but every little bit of damage Classic does here, ByuN struggles with. And again, Classic, he's just got the whole rest of the map. More Liberators going down here. Bio trying to jump on top of this army. The Vikings take down a Colossus, but there's a few Stalkers still in his army. There's no siege tank back here. Oh, there's the siege tanks over here. ByuN is holding on, man. I'm shocked he's held on this long. I thought for sure he was dead. I still feel like it's only a matter of time as Classic dives back in. A lot of the bio late to the party. These tanks are going to go down this time. A ton more Zealots warp in. Oh, a massive Disruptor Nova, and that will close it out. GG. Classic takes the 3-2 victory over ByuN to close out this week's KSL Grand Finals. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. I hope you all have a great rest of your day.